Hi there, it's Kelly, and this is more of a personal update than a focus video on a specific topic because I went away for a 4-day weekend and didn't really want to film while I was at a hotel. Puppy says hi. But I also came back and immediately went into winter storm prep. And if you're on the eastern half of the US, you know what I mean. It was a bigger storm than we usually have this early in January, but it meant for us here in Kansas about 12 inches of snow and a couple days of freezing cold weather. So the thing I was reflecting on that I wanted to share was there was this podcast that had an interesting conversation about what age do you go from she fell down to she had a fall. And if you are older, have older relatives, you know what I mean, because there's something that's kind of like innocent about, oh, he fell down or she fell, of like, oh, so clumsy or drunk or whatever. And then there's they had a fall, which could mean like they've died or something is broken or seriously wrong, or it indicates there's like a medical thing happening. Well, I was thinking about this because I have some acquaintances and people here in town who were very, very concerned about me during this storm. Part of the reason is that I live in a very old home, 120 years old. I know that's not very old if you're like in Europe, but here in the Midwest, it is an older home, which means no central heating and air, very old windows that I'm slowly replacing, and really bad insulation. So at one point, I do know the temperature inside was about 30 degrees. I know that because the water fountain I have for my cat froze. And so I know it had to be at least freezing point inside during this storm. Now, I do have these gas fireplaces. I have 2 on the ground floor. One of them's not working. I have space heaters spread out. And if you've ever had a space heater, you know that your house is going to just catch on fire spontaneously. They warn you. Well, that almost happened because my cat knocked a blanket off of a chair. It landed on the space heater and started burning. So I had to deal with that situation right before the storm. But even though I have the fireplace and the heaters and it was freezing cold in my house, I'm doing okay. I mean, some of the pipes are frozen, the hot water's not back yet, but I've been okay. And it kind of amused me that some of these people were like so worried that I needed to like go to a warming center or check into a hotel or, like basically retreat, even though I've been totally fine. One is lots of layers. I also have the furry little space heater that I call my dog Lincoln. And in general, I just dealt with it. Like, yeah, it's annoying to do dishes in cold water. Your hands are freezing. You're like not done until you boil the kettle and rinse the dishes with hot water. It's a hassle, but it wasn't super bad. But thinking about that conversation about like, at what age are you like, oh, she had a fall? What could be the age that I start thinking, oh, this is too much? Like, if I'm 60 and I don't have running water, or my house, the heater's not working, how would I handle that? So that got me thinking that, and I had a long drive today, so I had lots of thinking to do. I was gone for most of the day, which is also why this guy is so clingy now that I'm home. But it made me think that you want to resolve these things before you get to the age of she had a fall. Talk to anyone who's sold their house. You get to a point when you're selling your house that you're fixing all the problems for the selling process and you're like, well, now this is kind of nice. Why didn't I do this before? Why did I fix it up to sell it? Why didn't I fix all those problems that have been bugging me and would bug a buyer a year ago, 2 years ago? So in that vein, I want to fix some of the things in my house before I'm like moving out or before I'm at the age where I get diminishing value in that investment. So, for example, I am probably going to be replacing my heaters. The other one lights fine, but then dies out way too quickly, and I need it to stay on so the house stays warm. And I also know that the fan on both of them is busted, and so if you want to stay warm, you got to kind of get very close to the heater. Sometimes I just kind of stand in front of it and rotate like a rotisserie chicken so I can get all sides warm. But I want ones that have fans that actually push out the hot air to the rest of the house. So again, I could wait till I'm 50 or 60 or I have, arthritis and I have to have it, or I could invest in it like this spring, get them installed before next winter, and then enjoy them for the next 20 years. So think of things in your life in this way, like what are the things you wish, or you think like, I'll deal with that eventually, that you could deal with now or sooner? Like, I don't know, these are probably going to be upwards of $1,000 to replace these two heaters, or these two gas fireplaces. But, if you can't do that, like right now, just pull the money from your savings. Like, what could you plan to save over a couple months to make that happen, so that next winter you're not freezing your butt off and wondering why you didn't do this last year? Talking to myself. But anything in your life that needs a bit of a fix and that you might think to yourself, I'll do it later. What could you do sooner so that you could enjoy the benefits of it now? So that's just a little bit of what's been going on in my head and where I've been. I've got some other things to share, including such insights from a meeting I attended recently to share with you. So make sure you're subscribed, and I'll be back soon with another video.